Hi, I'm Beck, and I am so excited to announce the third annual Prideopoly Reading Challenge this June. If you haven't done Prideopoly before, then welcome. This is the perfect place to introduce you to the challenge. And if you are a seasoned Prideopoly player, then welcome back. I can't wait for you to see this board. I am so proud of it and so excited for all the things you're going to read this year. Let me just start by giving you a little bit of an introduction as to what the challenge is. It's kind of just like a bookopoly, except for Pride Month. And essentially, you roll a dice, and if you land on a property, you read the book that matches that prompt. For every 100 pink pounds you earn, you get one entry into our exciting prize draw. And you start at Coming Out, which is in the bottom corner down here, just like go, but coming out. And you roll your dice for a maximum of 12, just like you would in Monopoly. And then you move the corresponding number of spaces shown on the dice. You follow and complete the prompt that you've landed on, and you collect pink pounds, as I said, for completing the prompt. And then you roll again to move through the board. There are a couple of special cards, which I'll come back to in a moment. And there are some frequently asked questions, which I'll talk about later. Essentially, the more books that you read, the more points that you get. There are two modes for this challenge. There is expert mode and there is a regular mode. So if you have a little look at the board here, you will see that there are identity flags as you go around the board. So along the bottom here, for example, these three prompts have the Achillean, the gay flag, on them. So expert mode means that the prompt has to match both the flag and the prompt, or regular mode means the book just has to be queer and match the prompt. It doesn't have to fall under an author or a main character under the one of the main identities that are represented here. If you choose to do the challenge in expert mode, then you receive more points for every entry. Every £500 that you earn, you get an extra entry into the prize draw. And if you choose to complete the challenge in regular mode, that's awesome as well. If you complete an identity set, so if you complete all of the prompts in the same identity set, almost like it would be a street in Monopoly, then you also collect a bonus 100 pink pounds. And if you complete all four of the social prompts marked with the rainbows, then you collect a bonus £200 for that as well. There is a score sheet on the website, which I will show you in a little while, and that will tally all of your points for you. But you have to remember to log your points. Please remember to log your points. You can take part in this challenge independently. There's a website, everything that you need is there. You can join the Discord. We have a really active Discord community, and Prideopoly is hosted in a section of that. Or on Instagram, you can find the launch post and you can comment I'm in under the launch post comments, and I'll add you to a chat where lots of people on Instagram are going to be discussing and doing the challenge together. So let's take a closer look at the board. There are a couple of new things this year which are exciting if you're a seasoned Prideopoler. Now this board is quite smudgy. It's making my fingers a little bit inky because I did obviously print it and paint it myself. Oh, I'm holding it the wrong way. Of course I am. Of course I am. So forgive my fingers getting increasingly smudged as we read this. The prompt that is the newest that I would like to talk to you about is our new Read the World prompt. So as you can see up here, we've got roll to read the world, roll to read around the world, and there's another one down here, roll to read around the world. And what happens if you land on this prompt is you roll one dice, and depending on whether you roll a 1 or a 6, you have to read a book from a different area of the world. It's either author's heritage for the top one, or the bottom one is setting. So one of them is about where the book is set, and one of them is where the author has heritage from. And I just tried to keep it as simple and as widely categorized as I could, because the diversity and the main excitement of Prideopoly is you don't know what you're going to land on anyway. And the 6 main categories that I want people to try and focus on books from are Europe, North America, not USA, South America, Asia, Africa, and Oceania. So generally, if you land on one of these and you roll a number and you see where your book or where the writer that you have writer's heritage has to be from. And this is just something to freshen up the challenge a bit this year, to add a little bit more of, I guess, to randomize it a little bit more, to add a little bit more of a chance element to it, because you don't know again what you're going to roll there. So that is something that is new for this year. A couple of the identities have changed this year. Last year we found it really difficult to find a huge number of books with explicit pansexual representation. And so we've opted to take pansexual as a identity out of the challenge this year. And instead, we've got two queer sort of categories, identity brackets. We have the sort of easier queer identities at the bottom. And at the top over here, we have an identity that isn't already a prompt, an indigiqueer. And these remained from last year, but they're there to really try and get you to think outside what you might normally see on, I guess, on social media or on your bookshelves even, depending on how diversely you read. Or to pick up that book you've been meaning to read for a while, but you just haven't got round to it. They're to try and get you to broaden your horizons. There are loads of prizes involved this year. The grand prize winners will each get, there's two of them, they'll each get a queer book mystery box curated by me, and that'll be available internationally. There'll be two book vouchers also available to local indie bookshops, and there are two Rainbow Crate gift vouchers available as well. And there'll be other flash prizes throughout the challenge and for different things. If you have done this challenge before, you'll know that sometimes people get prizes for posting a great recommendations post or posting a great stack. There's I try and mix it up every year, so there are surprises as well. The other board specific thing I want to talk to you about while we're sort of looking at the board is the queer community chess prompts. So every time I pick this up, I swear it is the wrong way. You can see around the board there are some queer community chess prompts here. And essentially, what that means is you pick a card, like you would pick a chance card or a community chess card, indeed, in Monopoly. And I have a queer community chess randomizer on the website. So if you go on the Prideopoly website, you can click and it will give you a number for your card. You need to write down what the number is of the card you're given and follow what the prompt says, because you need your numbers for when you log your scores. So before we take a little look at the website, I'm going to try and cover some frequently asked questions. This tends to be the thing that is sometimes easier to explain through voice. So sometimes it's easier to watch the video for the frequently asked questions than it is to read a big script with them. So hopefully this will make a difference if there are some things that are a little bit confusing. Hopefully there's not, but just in case. What if I DNF a book? If you choose to DNF a book, that's totally fine. You can just choose another book to complete the prompt, but you can't mark the prompt as complete until you have read a book that sort of satisfies the criteria. You do have to complete a prompt to log the points in advance. So, say for example, you rolled and you ended up landing here, which is, again, this board. Say you rolled and you ended up landing here on the bisexual identity, and it's with a trial or contest, is the prompt for this one. So if you landed on this one and it took you 2 weeks to finish this book, but in the meantime, you read this book and this book and this book, you couldn't log any of these until you had finished this one. You have to log the books that you've read in order so that we can track your progress around the board. What that means is we did have some people last year who ended up reading 20 books, but the first book that they had started, they didn't finish till the very last day, so they had to log lots of things at once. So try and work out exactly what you're going to read whenever it is that you're going to read it, depending on how you pick your books. It's just make sure that you've completed one prompt before you go on to the next one. Another question we get is, what if I don't want to complete a prompt? If you get on a prompt and you think, I do not have access to a book that fits this, that's totally okay. Just go into a reading slump, like go into the go to jail square that you would on a Monopoly board. So proceed to the reading slump square on the board and try to essentially get out as normal through paying a £50 fine or rolling a double six, any double, or a 12. If you use a book for one prompt, you cannot use it for another prompt. It is one book per prompt, please. And there is no minimum page limit for books read, and there's no book style or type police. Just read whatever you're comfortable with. They have to be middle grade, young adult, or adult. You can't read lots and lots of picture books for this challenge, but there is no page length. You can also read graphic novels, that's totally fine. Do audiobooks count? Of course, audiobooks count. Always, audiobooks count. Can I read more than one book at once? Yeah, absolutely, of course you can. But remember, as I've said, the later books you finish won't count until you've read the earlier prompts that you land on. If you don't know what to read for a prompt, or if you're struggling, do not worry. I have so many exciting collaborations lined up for you, and I will link them in the recommendations table on the website as well. So even if you miss them on Instagram, they'll all be linked on the website with pictures of the books they've recommended for the prompts, and you can go and find them there. If you do not have social media to complete the social media prompts, that is also totally fine. There's an option to link to Storygraph if you've reviewed a queer book, or an option to upload an image, but it doesn't have to have been shared to social media. Most people would just find it easier to share it to social media and then put the link in the score form. Finally, I think before I show you the website, the main message is just have fun and share the game with everybody. If there are any questions, I will be there in all of the chats to help you, and so will the people that have done the challenge before. I'm honestly so excited that I'm getting to do this for a third year. I just hope that you have fun and make sure that you share and show your progress. Let's take a little look at the website before we wrap up the video, so that you can kind of see what it is that you are going to be logging your scores on. You can see what the information is like on there. And I've updated everything on the website apart from this video. So when I open the website for you, you will see last year's video link. So just be prepared for that. I'll just switch what I'm doing just now. Here we are. So this is the website. Oh, I have a filter on my monitor, so this is probably all going to be really pink. Let me see if I can take that off just now. There we go. Sorry. It helps my eyes when I'm reading. And also, my camera will have flipped now because this is the way that I do my live streams. The camera's flipped like this. So, this is just the most chaotic video ever, as is on brand for me, to be honest with you. Okay, so there's just like a welcome message, and then the website is as you would expect. There's a link to join the Discord. There's a link to recommendations posts, a link to the score form. So, say you lost on how to play, you could click on this, and you can see that's all of the information that I've just told you. I've also got a little key down here for if anyone doesn't know what any of the flags represent. That's there as well. The Queer Community Chest. This is the little cards that I have developed. Now, in order to keep the prompts secret, these will not be uploaded until the day Prideopoly starts. So you cannot pull Queer Community Chest cards until that fact. So this is the Queer Community Chest card, and this will just be something random. Random item number 17, for example. And that will give you what your community chest card is. This will be something like, you've won this, earn £20, or you've lost this, go back 3 spaces, or it'll be something to do with the game board. And then once you're finished with that, you can just go back home. There is a larger print community chest prompt link here as well, in case this font is too small for you. I couldn't get it to be any bigger in the actual embedded thing in the website. Obviously, I am not a website building expert. So if you do need that, there's a link for that there as well. And then you can go back home. The only other thing that I think I want to show you is the score form and the recommendations posts. So this will be where I list the recommendations posts. Obviously, I've only done one of my own so far, and then one of mine with my friend Andy's. So these are the types of recs, who created it, and then what platform it's on. And this is going to be a slideshow of lots of different posts, and you can, as you're looking at the recs, this might help you as well, and you can click on these and it will take you to where you want to go also. All right, let's look at the score form. So don't forget to submit each roll when you gain or lose pink pounds, essentially. And here is the link for the score form. Now, the score form may or may not be ready. I think it is common sense. The final date for all score submissions is the 5th of July. There's absolutely no way that you can take months and months and months to put your scores in, because it takes me long enough to calibrate them. It takes such a long time. And so you just click on the score form here, and it should open up. And you pop your name in, you pop your platform in, you put your handle in. This is the really important thing. You have to remember what your handle is every single submission. And then you just say, I played in expert mode. Did you pass coming out? Which space did you complete? And then you put the number in of the Queer Community Chest prompt that you got. And did you have to pay pink pounds to get out of the reading slump space this turn? Yes, no? If you've completed a set, please select which one here. So if you have completed a set of 3 of the trans identity prompts, then you will select that, and then you have to put the book that you've read with your title and your author. And if your space did not require you reading the book, just put any. And then if one of your spaces was a social prompt, you put the link there, and then that's it, done. You should only be having to log this for, not for every single roll, but for every single pink poundage that you earn or you lose, if that makes sense. So you log so that we can keep a track of your money, and then we will try and update you throughout the month on how many pink pounds everyone has earned as a total so far, and things like that. So I think that I have covered everything. Has it been in the best order despite me writing a script? Probably not. I did write everything out in order that I wanted to say, and then halfway through the introduction, I ad-libbed and went on. It's kind of just the way it goes. I'm pretty sure I've covered everything. If there are any questions, or if there's anything that you don't think I have covered, obviously please let me know. But the main thing is, this, by the time you're seeing this video, this challenge should be live. You are welcome to access the board. I knew the last, I knew I would pick it up the wrong way the last time. My goodness. You are welcome to access the board. I've got a downloadable graphic on the website. I would just love to have you join us for Prideopoly. It is the highlight of my year, getting to make and run this challenge, and I just can't wait to see what you all read. I really can't wait. I do all my roles live. I'll be live doing on Twitch, doing a brainstorm stream with books that I would like to read or I have read for all of the different prompts. So if you would like a community focused um event, essentially, where you can sit and just chat about books in an informal way, you are so welcome to come along to that. I'll pop the link of my Twitch down below, and you can keep an eye out for when that happens. I'm going to schedule it a couple of weeks ahead of time. I'm not quite sure when it is until the day I'm recording this video. I don't know. I don't yet know when that stream will be, but keep an eye on my socials, because I will pop a schedule up and tell you when the stream is going to be, where we discuss all the books we're going to be reading. I'll be doing live reading sprints throughout, so you can come and you can see me do my live rolls. You can get your pages in, and you can spend some time with the amazing community that we've built together here, and most of all, discover and uplift some queer voices. I think I think that's everything. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end of this absolute chaos video, remember to join the Discord or comment on the Instagram post if you want to join the community aspect of this. And I hope to see what you read. Thank you so much.